Hello everyone, let's take a look at today's daily. Okay, there's a look at the kingdom and the landscapes. Okay, so a lot of cool stuff going on here. It looks like Chapel's obviously an extremely strong trasher. Landing Party is a really strong draw if you can get it back. Swamp Shacks could also be potentially really strong draw. In fact, if we just throw a bunch of landing parties in play, then Swamp Shacks might end up just being super strong. Circle of Witches is a cursing attack, but it might not be all that important this game, given that there's strong trashing in Chapel. Vampire converted to Bat can also trash, but it's sort of not very slow. What does Orchard do again? So we want a lot of action cards to get that up to 4. Let's see here. Merchant Guild, really powerful for like payload. Wharf is obviously very good. So the plus buy comes from Merchant Guild and Wharf. I don't think the curses are going to be important. So Guildmaster is essentially just a terminal gold. I mean, I say that like I don't know for sure. Maybe, you know, I'd rather throw out a curse than not. But I could see picking up a vampire at some point might be is you know not out of the question. In which case you're playing with a bat sometimes as well, in addition to the Chapel for trashing. Normally, like Enchantress is nice to have, but there's other start of your turn draw which is better. So I think the opening here is going to be Chapel and maybe Gear, because you know then the Gear you can set up potentially a much better trash for the Chapel. But it could also be Chapel Silver, Chapel Landing Party. So overall, I think what I would like to do, I want to get towards, you know, a few wharves being played each turn to draw up. The landing parties, if I pick up landing parties, they are unfortunately probably just going to stay and play the rest of the game. But that powers up Swamp Shacks a bit, so it's not that bad. Where is the money coming from? So Merchant Guild generates a little bit of standard money. I might have to, maybe if I get a vampire, I can pick up. Vampire's probably gaining Merchant Guilds and Wharves. If I find that I have a lot of extra actions, maybe I will pick up a Guildmaster, just being a terminal gold, potentially worth points at the end of the game. But I might have to just sort of suck it up and buy some golds. So I think I'm going to open Chapel Gear. AI buys a landing party. Like that's another thing that I considered. Because then, you know, maybe that is better. Landing party, you can, you know, early in the game, you're probably top decking it. You know, you're putting it back in your deck fairly often. I want to make sure landing party is the one I think it is. Yeah, okay. You're putting it back in your deck fairly often, so that helps you cycle a little bit. Gear is always just really good. I don't know what the best one here is, really. Landing party will be good later for the village effect. But it'll quickly stay out and play more or less permanently. Maybe I will take the landing party. Okay, this isn't the worst case in the world, but would have been nice to trash more estates. So they took a chapel as expected. So I'm hitting 5 here. That's, no I'm not, I'm hitting 4. So is this another landing party? Or is this, what did they do? They trashed, they have this, they did the same trashing as me. So am I taking another landing party? Am I taking a silver? So next turn, I've only got 4 money in my deck. So this probably has to be a silver then, doesn't it? Yeah. I have 4 money in deck. I'm never hitting the powerful 5s. Okay, there's 5. Landing party gets top decked here for me. What did they get? A silver as well. So we're basically mirroring each other at this point. Except their landing party is back on top earlier than mine. I don't think that's a big deal. Am I taking a wharf or a vampire? So the vampire is just going to gain. I think I take a wharf now and a vampire next turn. So that landing party goes on top. Hopefully I can play the landing party and the wharf, trash more estates and coppers potentially, and pick up the vampire. Vampire converts to bat, and the bat will trash the chapel to get the vampire back. And then vampire can just be gaining the good 5 cost cards. They buy another silver. Interesting. But they got off a good trash. Okay, so this... Ooh! That's rough. I think I'll just trash... That's really bad. If I'd drawn that silver, we would have been taking the vampire, would have been in a much better situation. So next turn, I'm not going to play the chapel, because then I can just play treasures and top deck the landing party. I'll draw 2 cards with wharf. If I trash these 2 coppers and buy a silver, that'll put 6 money in my deck in total. And I'll be able to afford... I could just buy the vampire. But, you know, is there something to be said about taking a merchant guild here? Or a merchant guild next turn? Do I want landing party swamp checks? I think I need more money in the deck. I know I'm trashing coppers, but... Oh, no, I need to buy a silver. I don't need to, but it's going to be useful. That'll put 7 money in my deck in total. Yeah. Let's do that. So they bought their first wharf. Okay. Now, okay, so I've got landing party on top again. I think now I take a vampire. The alternative is I take like Enchantress. This is probably the last turn where I'm going to be able to top deck that landing party without a doubt. So I think I do want to get more landing parties. They'll be worth points. They will power up Swamp Shacks. And you know, the vampire is going to be gaining the 5s. Meanwhile, I can buy the 3 and 4 cost cards. I could see myself getting some guild masters at some point just for the money. Considering that I can gain them off of vampire. How many cards do I have in deck? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I add the vampire, that's 9. I'll draw, so there will be 4 cards there. I'll draw 2 of them with the landing party. I mean, there's a good chance that I see the wharf next turn. So I think we do this. So they've bought a gold. Yeah, they're going for the money now. Oh. like my two most important cards are at the bottom. That's real bad. So now the problem is I don't have any village effect next turn. So I'm playing only the wharf next turn. You know what I could do is I could buy another vampire here. If I buy a vampire here, a vampire doesn't count towards Orchard, but if I buy a vampire, if I trash 2 coppers, how many cards will I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'll play the wharf. I'll definitely draw both vampires, and I'll have 5 money to spend. I won't be playing the chapel. So that's a lot of gains next turn. I think that's what I should do. So they've got a Swamp Shacks, 2 Swamp Shacks. Okay, so there's my wharf. Okay. Next turn, I'm not playing the wharf. So I could afford to pick up a single terminal. And then if I add another terminal, I should add a village. So what if I do Guildmaster, Swamp Shacks, Wharf? They have a very thin deck, and they're generating a decent amount of money per turn. They got at least 8 money last time. So I feel like I'm a turn behind. So if I go Guildmaster, Wharf, Swamp Shacks, then I will also be generating 8 money next turn if I want to. But it might only be 7 because I might trash a copper with a bat. Maybe I trash. What is this? At the end of your buy phase, +1 coffers per card gained in the buy phase. So gains off of Vampire don't help the Merchant Guild. Like, I think I need to increase my money gaining ability here. What did I give them? Envy. That's good. That hurts a lot the amount of money they gain next turn. Okay, that's probably nothing for them. Oh my goodness. The Wharf is going to draw me something here, right? Thank you. It doesn't really matter. Okay, I'll play the Guildmaster. So the question now is, do I play this copper or trash it? I could go here. I could go, if I think I should trash this copper and add more money to my deck. So one bat will trash the chapel, the other bat will trash a copper. Then I get the vampires back for more gains. And I could buy silver and silver something. Or do I just buy a gold? That means I would have 10 money next turn rather than 9. 9 isn't so bad. Plus, a lot of these cards are worth points. Is drawing going to be an issue next turn? Maybe I go silver landing party. The landing party just to help out with draw. No, but I'm trashing these 2 cards. I think this should be either a landing party or a Swamp Shacks. So Swamp Shacks at the moment is essentially always going to be a standard village until I get more landing parties or wharves or something like that. Maybe just for the sake of safety draw, maybe I'll take a landing party here. I haven't played a landing party. Okay. I mean, they're also drawing their deck every turn. They're not generating as much money as I thought they might. They were. But was that their envious turn? No, it was their previous turn. Okay. Landing party. Why not? Okay, so 9 money. I think we need to start taking Merchant Guild. And if I do that, I need to, so these landing parties I'm never getting back. Merchant Guild, so like I didn't play the Swamp Shacks. So by adding the Merchant Guild, I don't play that, but I do play that. I need to add more village. So if I go Merchant Guild, Swamp Shacks, so like Vampire can gain Merchant Guild, and then maybe I go Swamp Shacks Silver again. Then all my terminals will be balanced. Oh, I have 9 money. Am I definitely drawing? I don't think so. Okay, so let me just think about terminal space here for a second. I think I'm perfectly balanced on terminal space. So if I buy Merchant Guild Swamp Shacks, I'm still balanced. And then I could gain and then I could gain the landing party, for example. Again, it just helps with draw. It will eventually power up Swamp Shacks. So I'm definitely getting one of these. The question is, which of these two do I get now? Oh, I have 2 vampires, right. I've got more gains than I thought. So I could go Swamp Shacks and then Wharf Landing Party or something like that. Now I think a bat is just going to trash a bat. Yeah, I feel like I'm not making enough money. That's my biggest problem. Okay, so now if I play 2 Wharves, I can play all of this. So I have 2 Wharves coming in next turn. That's big. So what could I do here? Gold Swamp Shacks. Bat trashes bat. Finding it difficult to, in my head, keep track of how much draw versus overdraw I have. I feel like I overdrawed a lot this turn, so I don't mind adding just flat money and a gold. You know what I could do is also add... yeah, so this bat will trash a bat. This is... I should have picked up some coppers on my last turn for the bats to trash to get back both vampires. If I kept a silver... No, that doesn't work. Let's do this. I mean, buying these also gives me coffers. I don't know if that was right, but like I think I'm going to buy another vampire here, because the gains from vampire are awesome. I'll just have to balance. I'll have to gain coppers for the bats to trash. Oh, I should have gained another wharf at some point. It's all right. So, I mean, I don't really need the wharfs now for the purposes of balance, action balance, or draw, you know, balance the wharfs between the turns. I could go Vampire, Merchant Guild. Merchant Guild. How about another Merchant Guild and a Swamp Shacks? Ooh, I could get like double Swamp Shacks here by spending coffers. I'm gonna probably make a lot of coffers next turn. Should I be worried about draw though? Maybe I buy a Swamp Shacks and Vampire gains a wharf. Oh, that's good. They buy 2 Swamp Shacks. They buy 3 Swamp Shacks. Okay. Uh-oh. Massive problem. I think I have to play a wharf. Yeah, I knew that draw was going to be weird. Play a wharf. Maybe I draw more money. Don't get a Merchant Guild in this turn. That's okay. I don't care about the trashing. I think I have to play a wharf to help my draw next turn. Okay, good. And what do I take here? I can just start throwing in more landing parties. They obviously never hurt the deck. Would have been nice to grab more of those Swamp Shacks, because now I feel like our actions are totally off balance. Oh, you're welcome. Oh, you're welcome, seriously. More landing party? I feel like we're just going to drive the piles down pretty quickly here before they can catch up. Kind of hope. They have a lot of coffers, so we'll have to keep that in mind. Okay. I'm going to not play this landing party unless it's necessary. We'll play 2 of you for sure. Can I win here? What would I need to do to win? How many gains do I have? Potentially 8. Have to empty landing party, Merchant Guild. That seems way too expensive. What if I play 1 landing party, do this, play both of these, dish out another curse. Dishing out that curse lowers that pile, which is something that could potentially help me next turn. These bats are each going to trash 1 copper, and then I don't need to buy back the copper this turn unless I want coffers. So how about if I quad landing party, I can almost certainly win next turn unless they do. Oh, wait, I need to keep 2 coppers. Okay. If I buy 4 landing parties here, can they empty piles? Can they win with points? Maybe. Like, I don't know what they have the orchard for. I could figure that out, but I don't want to waste too much time. I already take very long with some of these games. They probably have the points with... So they have Miserable. They have 2 curses. So they probably have Orchard with Swamp Shacks and Wharf. No, they have it with Swamp Shacks and Merchant Guild. So they could still get it with Wharf. I don't know. I'm willing to roll the dice here. If they beat me, good for them. Okay, so we should win this turn, right? Yeah, I mean, like 30 money. I need 35 to empty this. Cool. Yeah, that was fun, I guess. I felt like there was a time, or oops, I wish I, okay, I want to just open you. There was a time when I felt behind. You know, I had bottom decked both my Wharf and Vampire. Literally 2 cards left in the deck, Vampire, Wharf. If I were able to play that Wharf, then I think, you know, that means the next turn is stronger. I could play the Vampire to gain something. I think it would have exploded a lot faster. And they were making more money than me, you know, a little bit faster than I expected. I don't think that I got the Guildmaster, even though, like I said earlier, the Guildmaster is not going to be very good. Dishing out the curses was useless, but I just gained it because Vampire can gain Guildmaster and not gold. So it was a terminal gold, and I think with the exception of 1, maybe 2 turns, I had the terminal space to play it. So that's the only reason that I picked it up, was to have more money. I guess it's also immune to one of the hexes, right? Whereas gold could be reduced down to 1 coin. Yeah, a lot of orchard points here. I mean, Landing Party never hurts your deck, so those are free points. Swamp Shacks is powered up by Landing Party, and they're worth points. Like, the Wharf and Swamp Shacks are cards you're always going to want as many of as possible. Merchant Guild, you always want like a few of them just to like ramp up your coffers. So that's points right there. I'm a little bit surprised I never went for a gear, but I guess with Chapel, you know, setting up your next turn is much less important because you're always going to be so thin. When I had my deck basically fully made out, there was only 1 turn where I didn't draw very well, and that was pretty much my fault because I only played 1 Wharf on the previous turn rather than say 2 or 3. Anyway, yeah, fun kingdom. Thanks for watching.